in a whole lot of areas. Certainly the vote on Tuesday is going to make us move forward that much more quickly. So again, I want to thank the people. Now what we'll try to do is we'll try to tackle some innocent bystanders here who are walking down the mall, and we'll see if we can get them to comment on some of the issues of the day. Okay, we're still here at the Burlington Square Mall, and we're talking to Chris Hanson, who is a visitor from that foreign country called New Hampshire. And Chris, welcome to the city of Burlington. What's your impression about Burlington?
Well, I've been impressed with Burlington since we lived in New York State several years ago, and especially impressed with it since you've been mayor.
This is not a paid political commercial. I have never met this gentleman before. Thank you. This is very loose, but New Hampshire recently had its primaries. Vermont had its just Tuesday. Super Tuesday is coming up. What are your views on some of the important issues facing the country, the presidential election, and so forth?
Well, I've been supporting Jesse Jackson, and he didn't do quite as well in New Hampshire as we would have liked, although he'd made a decent showing. I think that his agenda is something that's important for us all to look at, and hopefully that can lead us either with him at the helm, or at least with his ideas being well represented, into some better days for the country.
Okay, actually, if my memory is correct, Jackson received about 8% of the vote in New Hampshire. And New Hampshire is a pretty conservative state, and I didn't think that 8% was that bad. He got heavily outspent in New Hampshire, where a lot of money came in, much more than in Vermont. So we thought, it was part of the process. I think the fact that he got 8% in New Hampshire helped them in Minnesota, helped them in Maine, and eventually helped them in Vermont. Well, we hope you enjoyed the city. Thank you. Our second guest, who we've just kidnapped here off the Burlington Square Mall, is a young man named Brian Blaze. And it turns out I know his mother, Ellie Blaze, very well. Okay, Brian, you are at the high school now?
Yes, I am. I'm a senior at the high school this year.
How are things going at the high school?
All right, I guess. Good.
As a young Burlingtonian, who I think you were born and raised in this area?
Well, I mean, I've been here for about 13 years. I wasn't born in Burlington, but I was born in Vermont.
Okay. What do you see the strong points about Burlington or Vermont that you're proud of? Some of the concerns that you have about your community?
Well, I find that the new developments, the new condominium developments around here are ruining the area. And well, I'm against that because I saw it happening over at North Shore and other things like that. I think that Vermont is, I like the wilderness, the trees and all that. I think it should be preserved.
Okay. You have any suggestions as to how that might be done?
Not really. I don't have any, because I don't know exactly what we could do, what is in our power to do. But I really don't know.
Okay. What do you think about the need for affordable housing?
I think that affordable housing there should be more affordable housing because, using the example of Northgate, the property prices will go up, and therefore the rent and the people at that place will need places to live. I mean, there are other places which need to be lower rent or whatever, and there needs to be more affordable housing.
Do young people at the high school have much interest in government and politics?
I'm not really sure about that. Well, people talk about what, I mean, sometimes like the different debates, and they state their opinions, but I don't think a majority of them would be like in the local government. I don't think they would be very enthusiastic about it.
What feelings do you have about the presidential politics, or what are you hearing at the high school?
Well, I haven't been really following the political campaigns because of all of the candidates. It's very difficult to follow. At the high school, I get such a mix of opinions that it's really hard to form an opinion on anything.
Okay. If someone were to say to you, what do you perceive some of the major problems facing our country, and what are some of the solutions that you would see? What comes to your mind?
Well, the financial deficit is like an obvious one. They were talking about raising the taxes, I believe, to compensate for that. But they cut down on social services and education, which is totally ridiculous. If they cut down on the military somewhat, they could help the financial deficit that way.
You don't think they should cut down on educational programs?
No, I'm sure they shouldn't.
Okay. Okay, Brian, thank you very much.
All right.
Say hello to your mother.
I will.
Okay. Okay. We're now talking to two young people from South Burlington.
Burlington.
All right, one from Burlington. What is your name?
Michelle.
Michelle, and your name is?
Mike Blair.
And Mike, you're from South Burlington. Michelle, you're from Burlington. Well, let me start off by saying it's an interesting hairdo.
Thank you.
Lipstick is also very interesting. The color screen will focus in on it. It seems to be a black. Is that right? All right, so let me ask you the obvious question, all right? What does your dress mean? What does it say, or does it mean anything, or what?
It's just basically saying, to heck with society, to heck with law and order. Well, it's not so much law and order, but
Saying to the mayor to heck with law and order?
it's just basically saying that you can do whatever you want to do, and it doesn't matter. I can be punk rock, if you want to say. I don't like the way society's run.
Okay, well that's
The cop out, everybody's plastic.
all right. And all right, talk about that. What specifically? What are the aspects of that society that you don't like? How would you like to see it changed?
People are not open-minded enough. They think that in order to be stable in society, you have to have money, you have to live in a suburb, you have to do the set things, such as have so many people over for dinner a night, a week, or you're not socially acceptable. You got to dress a certain way to be socially acceptable. And I don't believe in having to belong to anything to be a person. I can do basically what I want with my appearance, with my attitude, and it doesn't matter.
Okay, well that's a good statement. I appreciate that. And would you like to add to that?
Well, about the dress, it shows the way you feel, you know? Like, people wear black because they're not feeling too good about what's going on around them. Like, some of the stuff that goes on in the society, you know, is basically baloney. And, like, people say that the democracy is so truly free. And, I mean, that's fine, but the way we're living in this democracy isn't a true democracy. And, like, everybody's always complaining about depression and such. Well, that's going to happen in the democracy. It's natural, because if you have a democracy, there's going to be capitalists. And, like, I guess that, I mean, they shouldn't be complaining because that's what they asked for, you know?
What kind of society would you like to see?
Well, I'm kind of an anarchist, but communism doesn't bother me, like a true communism where it just goes to, like, no freedom of enterprise, because then everybody gets a chance to live and be safe, you know? But when it goes as far as cutting down people's freedom of speech, you know, that's not, I don't feel that's right.
So you're distinguishing between what you mean as true communism as opposed to
Right.
what exists, say, in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marx's idea of communism was a lot different than what they have it now. I'm kind of an anarchist too, but I don't believe in total anarchy because then we're just going to kill ourselves. I just don't like the way it's run now.
How do you feel society can be changed?
Well, if we could go into the archives and see what the government's really been doing for the past, I don't know how long, many years, then we'd all be pretty appalled and sickened by it. Because we think we're so free, we think we're so democratic, everybody has a say. We're just as imperialistic as the Soviets are, if not more. We're the ones that go into the other countries and we start wars. What really scares me is that we've never had a war in our own country. We don't know what it's like. We push our luck. maybe one day we will get invaded. Then maybe we'll know what it's like.
Okay.
Also, with communism and democracy, like one government always makes the people in its country feel that the other government's trying to impose on them, when that's not really true. They just want to be the way they want to be, and we should just want to stay the way we want to, and not try and spread our beliefs onto someone else.
What did you guys think of your own high school education?
The education itself was good. I'm going to college now, which is also good.
What college are you going to?
Community College, Vermont. But the environment is not the best. A lot of blackballing goes on. If you do one thing wrong, well then you're considered throughout the whole year, throughout your whole stay there, as a bad person. I don't know, it's odd. And if you dress radically, then you're...
You dress radically, right?
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
That's the fair statement.
If you don't dress like everybody else, then they automatically think there's something wrong with you.
Also,
They send you away.
yeah, and with school, like, the education part is fine, but they do so much programming to everybody to make them feel like teachers will poke fun at me a lot, you know. I'm not going to mention any names because they probably wouldn't be too pleased if they heard about that, but they specifically point out at me that, like, I'm trying to ruin their government. I don't care what they do. I just want to live the way I want to live, you know?
Okay, well, thank you very much for your forthright views. Okay, see you. Thank you.